Okay, welcome to the second episode of the $68 billion question. Yeah, it's been a little bit. We raised money. I've been really focused on building the team, getting the team in place, and now got a little more time. Always talking about the $68 billion question around commissions. I also want to start talking about a weekly update on the state of the housing market, specifically to California, because we're launching in California. Also, today I have a little story to tell because I recently sold my home without using a broker or an agent through Loqol, my startup. So Loqol is an AI real estate agent that will sell your home for you. We're not a platform to guide you or help you. We are an agentic experience. Take the transaction and we will sell your home for you all the way from beginning to end. Get rid of the percent commission of your home sale. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why does an agent take a percentage of a $20 million house they sell and a $500,000 house they sell, and it's the same percentage? It makes zero sense to me. And it always has, and that's why I started Loqol. Realize that there has to be a better way. All of our equity is being taken by agents instantly, and you've saved that for 7 to 10 years on average. Are we comfortable paying so much money to sell a home when the transaction is actually pretty simple? They've made it scary, of course. They always tout that it's legally scary, that you're going to do something wrong. And let's be honest, all the legal liability is always on you, no matter what, even if you have an agent, because there's all that small print. The agents make sure that you do it correctly, which is what our AI agent can do, but the liability is on you. The agents will never take liability on themselves, right? Which is smart, obviously. Just so everyone understands, there is no coverage when you hire an agent, and good agents will never put themselves in a liable position. Bad agents might, but good agents will never do that. Anyway, so this episode, I want to talk a little bit about some weekly updates on terms of housing market and also that story I mentioned. So, all right, let's go through some quick data I just pulled for California specific. If people are interested in other states and you're actually listening to this podcast and you want to hear other states, I'd love to know, and I can start adding this stuff into our weekly update. Also, our newsletter is going to go out with this based on zip code level information. So we're going to start pulling all our data that we have and putting it into a newsletter. So a weekly update just in terms of what's happening in your local zip code, what's selling, what's not, things like that. So, okay, first couple stats. I'll just read through them quickly. I think it's good to summarize them and have a handle on them. If you're selling your home, even if you have a real agent, this is still very useful information. At any point you guys have questions, just feel free to comment or DM me, or reach out to us through loqol.ai, which is the website. Okay, so median home sale price in California, $886,960. October 10, a modest statewide baseline, which still puts downside pressure on affordability for many buyers. So California obviously is one of the highest average home sales price. So after a period of uncertainty, prices ticked up slightly, showing resilience in demand or tight supply. That's classic California. There's always more demand than supply. Year over year change is relatively flat. Not much movement on that. Homes sold, all home types, 25,887 homes sold in October 2025. So that's really, that's interesting. So 25, so you're like, it's a lot. Sales activities are holding. People are still moving even with high rates, which means there's still liquidity in the markets. What's coming from what I've been talking to other agents and people like that is that the market is set to open up quite a bit in March, May, April. Springtime is the hottest time to list your home and get it sold. There's been a lot of pent up demand, and with the interest rate cut, earlier was it October? I think it was October, maybe November, and then another one probably happening in December, if not January. And that will motivate people to list, and that will motivate buyers to come off the sidelines and start going after what they've been waiting for. Also, as everyone should know, the market has adjusted. Homeowners should adjust their expectations that they're going to get what they used to get in 2021, 2022. That is no longer the case. You have to be priced realistically to sell your home across the board in all national level. California also is seeing that. It's just you have to be more realistic about what the number is that you're going to get. Okay. Year over year price flat. Homes sold. We did that. Number of homes for sale, 11,000, 112,000 Active listings, that's up 6.3% year over year. That's interesting. That means there's a lot of supply, and that shows you what is happening in the market. If it's up 6.3%, people are getting ready to go, then I think buyers are going to start to show up here in the next couple of months. So if you are interested in selling, you need to get going in the next month. Right after Christmas, you should start getting pictures ready, like inspections, things like that. And obviously a big plug here, but Loqol.ai is an AI real estate agent that'll sell your home for you without charging you a commission. So if you want to be the first MVP user, we're willing to do it for free for you. So if you guys are interested, test out our agentic experience, which I think you'll be very happy with. Lots of listings, median days on market, 47 days. That's up 10 days versus prior year. So that tells you there's a little more supply and less demand, which I think will change. And homeowners are listing a little too high is what that means. If it's adding 10 days versus prior year, that's what you're seeing. That gives buyers definitely more leverage. Now's the time. If you're a buyer and you're looking at, if you're smart, you're probably buying right now before tons of supply. Buyers are going to show up in March and April and May. And then you're going to have a little more competition. If I was a buyer, I would be looking at a home right now. The psychology of you want to be cozy and comfortable when it's cold and those things. So it's a good time to buy. Probably a good time to put your home on. I just don't think you'll get as many buyers looking. So if I was a home seller, which is what we cater to, I would 100% wait if you can till February, March. Okay, so mortgage rate, 30-year fixed, 6.19%, which is high, right? It dipped down below 6% for a bit. I think everyone's anticipating the Fed to lower the rates in the next 25 days. I forget when they meet. I think, did they just meet? I can't remember. The expectation is there will be a reduction, and especially since now the Fed is unable to get real employment data, it's going to be interesting to see. That's that for essentials. I think overall the market is a buyer's market. For sure, it's a buyer's market. All right, so different topic. Think this is an interesting story. I hope you guys want to hear it. So I have a home. We had a home in Utah actually, and that's one of the states we're thinking about expanding to first after California. And I wanted to make sure I tested local how to sell it. Of course, I needed to do it on my own and with our AI and get all the disclosures and the MLS listings. I saved $133,000 on the seller side agent commission. And I still paid a 3% commission on the other side. I was totally happy to pay that 3% to the buyer's agent because when they brought in a buyer full asking, it looked like a really good offer, a lot of money down, not a ton of contingencies that they had to get through. And the only really big one was the loan contingency. It was an expensive house. Lucky for me, we have a really expensive house in Utah, and we were able to sell it quickly. What I originally wanted to test was that I didn't have to list the MLS. I could just create a marketing plan to email all the brokerages in Park City, thinking that they would have buyers lined up, and I didn't get any responses. I sent everyone an email. I reached out to the top ones, not the small ones. What ended up happening is nobody responded. I got one email that said thank you. And I realized that there's no secret buyer lined up in Sotheby's or Compass or any of these places. That myth that they all have buyers ready, and maybe they do sometimes, of course. I realized this off-market concept that Compass is pushing. They're calling private listings, so they can not go to the MLS. It doesn't go public, so it doesn't look bad if it doesn't sell. I get that concept, but they're trying to double end it. They're trying to get both sides. They'll represent the seller and buyer, which is a dual agency. Anyway, so I just realized that this private listing concept is terrible. You're reducing the amount of people that see it. You're going to reduce the amount of the offers you get. It doesn't make any sense to me. I get it if you want to be private and you want to sell $100 million home and you don't want anybody. That makes total sense. There's zero reason. We ended up listing on the MLS with the local and the flat fee ability. As soon as I listed at the MLS, we got 2 offers. One was low. The other one, the agent reached out and asked where they should come in. And I said we should come in at asking because we have a first offer, and anything lower would be a waste of your time. And then the first offer actually came back once they submitted an offer at full price. The first offer came back and said, we'll match that plus we'll add 10% every time they come up, which they wanted to play games. And I was not interested. One, it sounded way too complicated, and raises a red flag. They didn't want to put a lot of money down. I found out that they'd tried for a bunch. They actually had another home they were in the running for, so they didn't want to commit. It's very strange. They came off as clearly not a serious buyer, and the other one came in very serious. They were full ass, not many contingencies, really great loan package that they had were going to pull a lot of money down. The security deposit was high enough where it made sense to me. The other one was just so low. And so we moved ahead with that. And the only hiccup we had, they needed a little bit of an extension for their loan because they had to get 2 appraisals. So the bank did. So that took a little longer than it should. It was kind of ridiculous that it was that way, but these things happen. I was okay with it. They had a sizable security deposit. So once that contingency was expired, I knew they were committed. So it was good. And other than that, it was really simple. I pulled a title commitment to show that we had a clean title from First American Title, which they were great. The buyers had their own title company. They requested I pay for the home warranty, which was like $800 or $1,200, for a $4.5 million home. That's nothing, So anyway, saved $133,000 on the seller side, paid $133,000 to the buyer side. So the buyer's agent is happy, right? This is my advice to all agents out there that may hate on us. We are still recommending sellers pay for buyers' agents' commissions. If you don't, then you're going to risk them steering away from you, which is illegal, but they will. You don't have to pay 3% like I did. I was happy because I saved so much money. I was okay with it. I wanted to move on the house quickly, but I had already saved so much that it was a no-brainer. Normally, I would say 2.5% to 2% max. I wouldn't go any further up than that unless you feel like you want to get out of the house quickly and negotiate with whatever you want. Again, Loqol-AI can help you do all this stuff. So that's the story. We sold it. It was great. Clearly, the off-market part didn't work. Once we were on the MLS, we had 2 people reach out and 2 offers in 2 days. So it's so clear to me what we're building here at Loqol. And so that now that I've proven out how to sell it myself, I'm very happy to help everyone else. I am such a big proponent of you all saving all your equity. I want you guys to start thinking about how you can do it. If you don't want to use us, use somebody else. You'll have to do more of it. You'll have to educate yourself because they're more DIY. We're not DIY. We are doing the whole transaction for you. I would recommend you use us. You can test it out and see how it works. I think you'll be surprised. And of course, I'm a licensed agent. We're a licensed brokerage. We'll be able to help you at any point at a human level as well. So don't think you're off on your own on the AI. We're always watching the AI and making sure it's doing its job. At any point, you can always reach out to us. Next episode, we'll review the dashboard that we're building, which is for the agentic experience. It's ChatGPT style, where you'll be able to track your conversations. You can also use Charlie, our AI agent, on WhatsApp. Coming soon, you'll be able to call her and she'll call you for questions and it'll just be like a real agent. It's incredible what we're building. Hopefully you guys are excited. Look out for the next episode after this. Thanks so much for listening to the $68 billion question. Again, that's how much people are paying every year to real estate agents. So just imagine that. Excellent. Onward we go.